from Scott says, I'm going to assume you don't realize that the shirt you're wearing is meant to be perverted. If you're going to talk about Jesus, you need to do it with a reverence of He is holy and righteous God. I hope and pray you erase the beginning of this video. The biggest problem with modern day Christianity is the fear of God is gone. Jesus said you will know them by their fruit. I pray you repent for the perverted shirt and obey Him as He commands. Offer your body as a living sacrifice, which is the least that you can do. Well, Scott and my other commenter, my t-shirt was talking about ball canning jars. I don't know what gutter you went down to, but I think you need to repent. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me here again today at Re-Written Vintage Homestead, and I'm so happy you could join me. I wanted to do a follow-up video to my last video that I did regarding my feelings about what was really going on with Titus Morris, who is an evangelist, and Peter Santenello, who's a documentary journalist who does wonderful work. So I had and I want to address this for several reasons, but let's get started at the beginning. One of the reasons was I wanted to thank you to all of my subscribers and my new subscribers, and I've gotten quite a few. Thank you so much. You put me over the 1,000 mark of subscribers. I've been working on YouTube for 2 years now. That was a goal of mine, and I really appreciate it, and I hope you'll stay. So thank you very much. And I wanted to let my new subscribers know a little bit about myself. Who am I? I'm a Midwestern girl. I live in the Midwest, and I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 3, grandmother of 4. I'm a daughter to 2 parents who I love dearly. I'm a friend to many friends. I'm a full-time employee. I'm a farmer, consider myself a farmer. I'm a teacher at heart. I enjoy music. I enjoy singing. I enjoy crafts. I have a minor degree in Native American Studies and American History, so I have a real passion for American history. And I love to cook. I love nature. I love my dog Marshall. And that's who I am. The most important thing about me is that I'm a believer in God as our Father. I'm a believer that Christ came to earth to offer us life more abundantly, to die for our sins, and I'm a follower of both. And that's the most important thing. And it's really played a huge part in my life, especially this year. So why did I start a YouTube channel? I started a YouTube channel for several reasons. One reason was I started it during the pandemic. I was working at home, isolated. It was a very scary time. Everything on the news seemed to be negative and very violent and extreme. People's opinions were really about issues were really swinging extreme ways. They were tearing down monuments. They were burning cities. They were threatening your lives. They were burning books. They were taking books out of the library. I mean, it just seemed to me like here we all were locked up, and the world outside was, our country was falling. That's how I felt. And after a while, I thought, surely I can't be the only person that feels this way, although I felt like I was. I felt like everything was changing but me. And there've got to be people out there that think the same way I do, especially about American history, which was really hitting me hard. So I started a YouTube channel that was mostly watched by my friends and family, and it was just a way of communicating with them and talking to them about current events and about politics and about history. And as time went on, I gained some more like-minded subscribers that became online friends, and it really is a great community. the second reason I kept my YouTube channel after returning to work was last year I was diagnosed with leukemia, cancer. At the time I was diagnosed, I had 2 years to live because the type of cancer that I had was very unusual. And the only way to treat it would be to get a bone marrow transplant and cross my fingers that it would work and pray to God that it would. Well, it was the strangest thing because during this whole journey, I immediately, well, I've always been a follower of Christ. I've always believed in God, always. I've gone to church on and off throughout my life. I was dedicated. I was never baptized, but there was never a question as to if I believed in God or not. But when I found out that I had cancer, I was almost ashamed that I was going to go meet my Maker without telling him that I did everything that I could to learn about him. The most important thing in my life, and to learn about his son. And I prayed that whether I get healed or not, I just want to feel them with me. Just help me through it. You know, that's what I was praying for. So I started going back to church, started connecting with a wonderful group of people in my church, and I'm going to be baptized soon. So I thought, you know, this cancer is probably something I should be addressing with the community. On YouTube, I can keep my friends and family updated, but there's probably someone out there that's really scared about this diagnosis, and if I can help them in any way, you know, I want to do that. So that was another reason. And then it's a creative outlet for me. I love, like I said, I love all these things. I love gardening, I love crafts, I love cooking, I love singing, I love nature, I love my dog. I love all of these things. YouTube really provides a creative outlet. So that's why I started this channel. So what can you expect to see on Re-Ritten Vintage Homestead? You'll see all the things that I talked about previously. You'll see history. We'll talk about American history because that's my love, and Native American history is a big love of mine too. We're going to cook because I'm always looking for new recipes that I can share with my family that are delicious, tried and true, that you can take to potlucks and family dinners and everybody will rave over, and that are economical. We're going to garden because that's where I get my food from. I'm trying to be more self-sufficient. I'm always going to have to rely on the store for something. I'm not totally self-sufficient like Titus is, but I'm trying to eat healthier because of my diagnosis, and we have 2 gardens this year. Next year I'll have 3. I'll have chickens next year. It gets larger as time goes on. So we're going to see, we're going to talk about interesting people. We're going to talk about current events. We're going to talk about books. We're going to talk about nature and God. And you know what? We're going to talk about whatever I want to, because this channel is about me, right? So in this whole course of things, why I started the YouTube channel, why I kept it, who I am, and what it's going to be about, I've created my own little sandbox here where I play. And, you know, some of the comments, I would say, on my last video, 95% of the comments that I got were absolutely encouraging and kind and prayerful, and they were wonderful. But let's, you know, talk about the other 5%. So as adults, sometimes we forget things we were taught when we were children. And I think this is a really good time to relearn what we were taught about playing in the sandbox. This is my sandbox, right? This is where we're going to play if you're going to subscribe. So here are the rules. Number 1, no pooping or peeing in the sandbox. And what I mean by that is no name calling, no hateful words, no throwing things out there that could be hurtful, that could make me cry. I'm not going to tolerate it. Now, what you should know is that I have a filter on all of my comments. Nothing gets published unless I publish it. That's what's so amazing about YouTube. You can put that filter on, and I have, because I want this to stay a positive place. Now, does that mean that I can't deal with ideas that are different than mine? No. Does it mean that I expect everyone to agree with me? No. I'm putting myself out there, right? And like I said, I'm a teacher at heart. I love debate. I love ideas that are different than mine. So I'm happy to talk about them. But when you start taking it to another place, your comment's not going to make it on the feed, and you're going to be blocked from the channel. So if you made a hateful comment, did some name callings or something this time, and it was published, that's because I published it and I wanted to address this. Number 2 in the sandbox is we don't throw sand in anyone's face or in anyone's hair. So if someone leaves a comment and you don't agree with it, you're not going to, no, I'm not going to let this arguing back and forth, occur. If you want to disagree with them in a respectful manner, give your point of view in a respectful manner, go for it. I will say I was really excited to see everyone interacting with each other this time. But there was occasion where someone would want to argue with someone else, and we're not going to do that. So no throwing sand in anyone's face or hair. Keep it together, folks. You should never go in someone else's sandbox and steal their pail and shovel and take off running. What I mean by that is, don't come onto my channel and make a comment that is accusing me of something and not even giving me a chance to respond. So don't just throw something out there and then take off and we never hear from you again, but everyone else is reading that if I choose to publish it. If you have a question for me, if you disagree with me, if you have something you want to say, please say it respectfully and ask me to respond, and I'm more than happy to respond. And finally, rule number 4 for this sandbox is, if you don't like it, go home. Go to your own sandbox. Start your own YouTube channel and wait for the comments to come in. Watch another channel. Watch a Disney movie. I don't care what you do, but go away. If you don't like it, don't watch. So I had several people ask me, what was the purpose of your video that you did on Titus Morris and Peter Santenello? And I felt like that was so obvious. I felt like I said that over and over again in the video, what my purpose was. But to make it simpler, I guess, my purpose was some of my friends, some of my family, some of my coworkers, some of my subscribers have never heard of Titus or Peter Santenello. And I think they're fabulous. And I'm trying to direct people to their channel to check them out. So that was the reason, one of the reasons. Another reason was because I was so excited about what I think is happening. I watched everything I could on Titus, not only Peter's videos, but the ones that were put up elsewhere about Titus. I watched Peter's videos. My goodness, he's been around the world. And like I told you in my video, I just found him. I just now found him. Now, my daughter said, "Oh my gosh, Mom, I've been watching him for years." And I'm like, I just found him. And I wanted everyone to hear about them and their relationship. That is what really strikes me, is their relationship and what I think is really going on there. I really think these two men are here on earth for a greater purpose. We all are. But you can, it's like I said before, sometimes we don't see these things happening. And in those videos, we see it happening. I thought it was amazing. I thought some other people might want to know. So out of the positive comments, you guys really, really shared your love of Titus and Peter. You love them both just as much as I do. You're really worried that Titus doesn't wear shoes. And so am I, because he's going to step on a piece of glass or a bumblebee. And he's going to get hurt, right? So that's another issue everybody deals with. The majority of people agree with me, but they also take it differently in that they think that Titus's purpose is to convert Peter to Christianity. And that's what this is all about, that eventually Peter will give his life to Jesus. And, that may happen. We really don't, do we? We really don't know about Peter, because he is such an excellent journalist that when he interviews people, have you guys even noticed he takes his camera back and stands back quite often and just views what's going on with the person, with their interactions with others, because he doesn't want it to be about him. He wants it to be about them. So I don't think he's really told us a whole lot about it, himself. I think he has studied other religions. We've seen that in his videos, right? He studied a lot of other religions. And I don't know that I really have that take on it, that we're going to see Peter all of a sudden just say, Titus, you've changed my life. I'm going to become a Christian. But he's playing a huge role in getting God's word out there. And I think that's really neat. Okay, so for the 5% of comments that were negative, accusatory, hateful, however you want to put it, I let them know that I wanted to address their comments on this video. I'm not going to, if their whole name is on there, I'm not going to give their whole name, although they don't mind it because they sent it and they thought it was going to be published, but I'm not going to do that. I'll just give you their first name and, whatever, we can go from there, but you guys can look up the comments if you'd like. But I want to go through these, and I want to be able to defend myself if I need to. Okay? So this is from Mondi8512. My dear lady, in Peter Santenello's first video, Titus told him something very different. He told he was about to kill himself because his feet were broken and there was little hope for healing, and he didn't want to live with constant pain. That was the reason why he wanted to end his life, and not pornography. It seems the gospel and gossip go hand in hand with each other. Okay, and Cindy House 6886 responded to Mondi8512 and said, thank you, you are absolutely correct. Re-Written Vintage Homestead, get your facts straight. Good golly, Miss Molly. Well, thank you for letting me feel like I was in junior high, Cindy. I haven't heard good golly, Miss Molly since then, and it brought a smile to my face. Reminded me of Molly Wants a Cracker and Molly Molly Hot Tamale. So thank you for that. And I want the two of you to know that the dissenting opinion was that I was giving false information about the pornography. So yeah, that was a big deal. So Katie said Titus did not struggle with pornography. Wasn't it his feet? They were broken and he was miserable. I'm not sure where you got your facts, but perhaps you should correct it. Okay. Luciano, I believe. Luciano. It could be anything that Titus was struggling with. You're assuming his weakness was watching porn. You're judging him. Okay. Matthew. He was tempted by a porn mag on the side of the road as a teen. That's a bit different than having an open addiction. Let him tell his story. Way over-exaggerated, lady. Okay, mister. And this is from Sage. Sage had quite a few comments. But the gist of her comments were, why are you spreading false information? Okay. Yes, we'll get to that just a minute. And Bats in the Bell Tower, I love that. Bats in the Bell Tower. It feels a bit lame of you to comment on his former life when he himself has not spoke of it in his videos. Oh, really? Really? Kind of gossiping of someone's troubled past. I don't know, it makes me feel uncomfortable, especially how you do it with a smile. Okay. So, you guys, I'm not going to go into word for word what Titus said about pornography, but he did. And he also said he thought about killing himself because of it. Now, in his first video with Peter, he said he had hurt his feet. In his second video with Peter, he alluded to the fact of the pornography was a reason that he thought of killing himself. He alluded to it, okay? But if you want to hear it clearly, like I told you before, I didn't only watch Peter's videos because I wanted to do a true synopsis. I found everything that I could on Titus. I watched the words come out of his own mouth. I did not tell you anything that he has not told you already on videos. And number one, he said that it is okay to share his testimony. Did you guys miss that? He said if it will help other people, he doesn't care if you take snippets of his video. He doesn't care if you share his testimony, if it will help other people. That's what I did. But if you guys still think I'm lying about him saying pornography was such an issue that he thought about killing himself, you should go to the video, Titus Morris, My Testimony. And I will put that link down in my comments about this video so you can go watch it. I'm not going to give you another synopsis of it. I don't want to go that deep down the rabbit hole. But I wanted to give you a true synopsis of Titus's story and his interaction with Peter. And I didn't lie. I didn't spread any misinformation. It's out there and it's coming from his own mouth. You can also find him talk about this on the second video called Inside the Life of Titus. I know. You agree with me? Yes, there you are. You hear that bird? That bird saying she did not lie. I did not lie. And you can watch it on Inside the Life of Titus with Peter Santenello. It's on the second video. Now, you know, it's like my dad said, my 89-year-old father, when I was telling him about some of these comments, he said, you know, you could tell someone, I'm going to give you $1 million. And they can either come back and say, oh, thank you. Or they're going to say, well, why don't you give me $1 million and one? You can afford it. So there's going to be somebody who just listened to what I just said about the pornography, and they're going to agree with this remark. And this was from Ebony. Ebony, thank you for watching. Ebony said, I absolutely love the videos with Titus. Well, we all do. So thank you. I don't understand why you need to give us the dirt on him. So somebody's going to watch what I just said, and they're going to say, you're still talking about it. You're just trying to dirty his name. Okay, so let me explain. Yes, we know his past. He tells us about it. Thank you, Ebony. Yes, he does. He tells us all about it. But why do you feel the need to tell us about the pornography? He could have any one of 1,000 problems, but you felt the need to zero in on that one. You can sing the Lord's songs all you want. You're nothing more than a gossip. Okay, well, here's how I feel about this. So, what my video was, you've heard me say it several times, is a synopsis. A synopsis is not supposed to be a word for word detailed account of a story, okay? It's supposed to give you the main highlights. And that is what I was trying to hit on. Now, when you tell a story and you leave out one of the main topics in that story, you're omitting a fact. Aren't you lying? Aren't you lying then? Titus didn't lie about it. He told the truth about it. It's part of his testimony. It's one of the ways God saved him. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. None of us are perfect. And Titus admitted he wasn't perfect, and he put it out there. And that was a major issue for him. Yes, he hurt his feet, but yes, he also had a draw to pornography. I used the word addiction. If some of you would have felt better that I would have said he had a tendency towards it. If you watch his testimony, he said it was a problem he could not get rid of. That sounds like an addiction to me. So I'm sorry if that word was offensive to you. But I'm not sorry that I wasn't digging up dirt. It's nothing I had to dig. It was right on the surface. And would it have brought anybody who was really searching for meaning in life, for how to change their life, for how to find God, for how to have a relationship with Jesus Christ, for how to be forgiven? Would those people connected with Titus if we would have omitted that major fact? I don't think so. He would have sounded perfect, wouldn't he have? He would have sounded perfect. None of us are perfect. And I feel like this is the problem. This is the problem with Christianity. I can't tell you guys how many Bible police I had sending me Bible verses, that they had Googled. And when you talk to someone on the street who doesn't go to church or who is not a believer, and you ask them why, you're going to hear lots of things. But you know what? The most common ones are, well, you know what? I know George, and George is a real strong Christian. He goes to church every Sunday, and the rest of the week he's out there drinking, smoking, and sinning. Well, that's the reason George is there on Sunday, is he wants help with that. You can't be accusatory and judgmental. And I was not being judgmental with Titus. I was thankful that he let people know he was a sinner, just like I am, just like you are. Another thing people will say is that I'll never live up to that. I can never be the person God wants me to be. I can't do that. I like to smoke. I like to drink. I like to party. I like to do these things. God doesn't tell us that we can't have fun. But I think there are some Christians that really lay that on people. We heard it in my comments. You're smiling. The shirt you wore was offensive. I'm trying to have fun. I like to tell a good dirty joke. I'm not a perfect Christian. I'm not. But does that mean I believe in God any less than you do? No. So I guess that's all I can say about this. As Forrest Gump says, yeah. Okay, Jackie G says, I do pray that Titus gave you permission to speak of his history. Jackie, as our former president George W. would say, this is America. This is America. I don't have to get Titus's permission to talk about his videos. I don't have to get Peter's permission. I don't have to get a hold of Dr. Jill and say, can I please say on my video that I think your husband is ruining this country? I can say whatever I want. It's called freedom of speech. I'm allowed to give my opinion. You know, when my kids were little, I would tell them when they had a problem at school, if you're in the right, I will be up at that school standing there with you. If you are in the wrong, you are going to handle it and take your punishment. And I think that's really important in life, is if you have done something wrong, that you admit it and you try to make amends. And someone called me out, and I'm going to admit I was wrong and I misspoke. So this is from Benjamin. Benjamin sent me a Bible verse. It's Leviticus 11. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, tell the Israelites, these are the animals you can eat. If an animal has hooves that are split into two parts, and if that animal also chews the cud, then you may eat the meat from that animal. If Titus said the Bible doesn't say it's okay to eat meat, and that's what I said. I said, Titus said nowhere in the Bible does it say you can eat meat. And that's how I understood it. But I was wrong. And I admit that, Benjamin. But he said, then he's reading a different Bible than me, or you are putting words in his mouth. And so I did, and I admit it. So I went back to that video to see exactly what he did say. And what he said was, one of the reasons he doesn't eat meat is because when God made Adam and Eve, he put them on a plant-based diet initially. And then that changed as time went on. Clean meats are allowed, but it wasn't God's original intention. So that's what Titus said. That's what the Bible said. So I wanted to clear that up. You can find that on The Man with No Legal Identity, and that's one of Peter's videos, Off Grid in Appalachia. Yeah, so I made a mistake there, and I own up to it. And the most important comment that I got, I can't tell you. You shouldn't do this to a 62-year-old woman with cancer who's overweight, who can't run without peeing her pants. Peter Santenello left a comment, and he said, that's a really sweet video. Peter, I fell over that you watched it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And your fans love you, Peter. And we want you to stay safe and keep up the good work.